All right, let's talk about the big dream, the one that gets sold to us all over the internet, passive income. Today, we're going to tear that whole idea apart. Not to be cynical, but to show you a much more real and, honestly, a way more effective path to actually building wealth, using some killer insights from entrepreneur Chris Kerner. So yeah, let's get into it. So let's just ask the big question right up front. Is this whole passive income thing a lie? I mean, it's pitched as the ultimate escape, right? The magic button for financial freedom. But what if chasing that dream is the very thing that's actually stopping you from making any real money? And that leads us right into our first section here, the passive income trap. This is all about that magnetic, almost irresistible idea of making money in your sleep. Chris Kerner really hits the nail on the head here. He calls it the financial holy grail. And it is, isn't it? It's that shimmering prize that everyone is desperately searching for. This idea that money can just appear without you having to grind for it every single day. And just so we're all on the same page, this is what we're talking about. Passive income is legit. It's money you get without having to constantly work for it. You know, like dividends from stocks or royalties from a book you wrote 5 years ago. It's a real thing, but here's the catch. It is almost never where the journey begins. And this is the pivot. This is the brutal truth. Before you ever get to passive, Kackner says you have to be willing to get your hands dirty with what he calls sweaty, ugly income. He tells this great story about starting a car buying business that he hated. It was hot, it was a grind, it wasn't glamorous at all. But you know what it was? Profitable. That's the key. Real wealth usually starts with real active work. Okay, so let's build on that. In this next section, we're going to pinpoint the one single habit, a mental roadblock that quietly keeps most people from ever even taking that first step. So what do you think it is? What's the number one thing that stops smart, capable people just like you, dead in their tracks? It's not about not having enough money. It's not about not having enough time. Nope. It's something way, way more personal than that. And there it is. The single biggest thing holding people back is the fear of what other people will think. The fear that someone you went to high school with is going to see your post and laugh. That tiny, almost ridiculous sounding fear, it is powerful enough to completely paralyze you and keep you from ever launching that sweaty, ugly idea that could totally change your life. But what if you could get over that fear by just taking all the risk off the table? Well, this next section gives us a framework to do exactly that. Let's talk about the $0 test. The secret weapon here is a tool that, get this, 1 out of every 4 people on the planet uses every single day: Facebook. And we're talking about its free platforms like Facebook Marketplace. So for example, say you have an idea to sell a new kind of creatine supplement just for women. Before you spend a single penny on inventory, you test the idea. And here's the playbook. It's 4 simple steps. First, you hop on a free AI image generator and create a super realistic looking photo of your product. Second, you post that image on Facebook Marketplace with a quick description. It's free. It takes like 5 minutes. Third, open a blank Google Sheet. And fourth, just track the data. How many people viewed it? How many clicked? How many sent you a message? You're testing real-world demand without having a product. Now, the point of this isn't to make a sale or get perfect data. The point is momentum. Like Kerner says, momentum is underrated. This little $0 test gets you immediate feedback from the real world. It completely shatters that paralysis of caring what people think, because now you have actual data to focus on instead of just fear. Okay, so we know how to test an idea for literally nothing. Now let's get into some actual concrete examples of those first sweaty income engines you can start building. And we'll break it down by how much money you have to start with. Let's start small. Just $500. Now, you might be thinking that's not enough to do anything serious, but honestly, it's more than enough. Kerner says something like 90% of the ideas he talks about can be launched for this much, or even less. So what could you do? Well, first up, AI implementation. So many small businesses know they need AI, but they've no clue how to use it. You can use that $500 on a few ads, find some clients, and then use free AI tools to build them simple solutions. Or what about drop servicing? You build a slick website for, say, garage door repairs. You get the customers, and then you just subcontract the actual job to a local pro and take your cut. And third, niche directory websites. Think of a site that lists every single dog-friendly restaurant in your city. You build it, get it ranked on Google, and then make money from ads or by charging businesses for a premium listing. All right, let's level up. What if you have $1,000 to play with? What kind of doors does that open? With $1,000, you could jump into something like wedding rentals. You can build a gorgeous wedding arch for a few $100s and then rent that thing out for $1,000 a pop. The rest of your budget, that's for marketing. Or you could start a local email newsletter. You could spend that whole $1,000 just on Facebook ads to get subscribers and then sell sponsorships to local businesses who want to reach those people. And for our final tier, $5,000. Now, with this kind of capital, we can actually start looking at some ideas that start to feel a lot more like that passive income dream we were talking about earlier. Okay, now this one is really cool. You're not actually buying an RV park for $5,000, obviously. You're using that money for the due diligence. You know, the boring but critical stuff like inspections and legal checks on a small RV park that's already making money. Then you actually buy the park using seller financing, which basically means the owner lets you pay them back over time using the profits that the park itself is generating. It's a way to get a real cash flowing asset with a pretty small amount of cash up front. So all of this, these tests, these business ideas, it all leads to a final and maybe the most important mindset shift for long-term success. It's a simple idea, but for a lot of people, it's pretty controversial. Profit over passion. Yeah, we hear follow your passion all the time, right? But the hard truth is, the odds that the thing you love to do is also the thing that's going to make you a ton of money right away are, as Kerner puts it, almost zero. The smarter play? Follow the profit. Find what's working and making money, and do that until you've built up enough financial freedom that you can finally afford to follow your true passion. And this really sums up the whole mindset. Instead of being passionate about, making candles or baking cakes, become passionate about the game of business itself. You gotta fall in love with commerce, with the pure mechanics of turning $1 into $2. If you can make that your passion, you can win in literally any industry you choose. So let's end with a question for you. Forget about passive income for a minute. Forget about having the perfect, polished idea. What is one sweaty, ugly, imperfect idea that you have that you could run through that $0 test right now, this afternoon? Because the answer to that question might just be your first real step toward building actual wealth.